joined him in 1915. At the time they were farming in Nebraska. They came to Las Cruces in 1918 along with their first child, who was my father. And in 1928, they bought this farm, the farm that this house is on. So it was their first farm that they had purchased in Las Cruces. They were farmers, and they grew sweet potatoes early on, sweet potatoes were their primary crop, but they also grew other vegetables, which they marketed locally and at the wholesale market in El Paso. Among the 4 children who lived here, one who is well known in New Mexico is my uncle, Roy Nakayama, who was a horticulture professor at New Mexico State University and is known throughout the state for his work, his chili research, and developing Big Jim chili. 1976, the house was vacated when my grandmother went to a nursing home, and it was vacant from 1976 until 2014. So in the early days until about the 1980s, the only access to this house and to the farm was this very small dirt road that ran along the side of the farm. This was the end of the road, and east of here there was just the arroyo and the desert. So most people were not even aware that this house was here. In the process of doing this renovation, really brought the house back to life, and along with some of the furnishing, a few of the pieces of furniture from my grandparents and from the 1930s when the family lived together. That together with this wonderful work that Bill and Jay Quinones have done really have sort of brought this house back to life, and I think they've done a wonderful job at preserving much of the character of an old New Mexico farmhouse, while at the same time updating it for needs of modern life.
My name is Matthew Strange. My main job at this project is electrician. What I'm responsible or what I'm in charge of is mapping out and designing the electrical systems and getting it hardwired in and getting what we call the rough in, which is the phase we're in right now. And what that consists of is getting all the new wires run from the new electrical panel to the lighting, all the power outlets and whatnot.
Are you gonna have to cut that 3/4?
As far as working on remodels, this one had the best bones. The initial house was put together better than any house I have seen that's a lot younger than this one. All the rooms, all the measurements were exactly square. When we did an initial measurement of the house and then I put it onto the CAD program, everything came out to the inch, whereas in all other projects, rooms are not quite square and some walls are longer than other walls, and I have to sort of guess what was supposed to be when I put them together. This house was very well and constructed originally, and so it was very easy to put together.
On a daily basis, it was quite amazing and educational and interesting to see what was happening every day, until the walls had been, like in the living room, had been this kind of bright green, and it was always my grandmother's house that I was doing some modifications to, as long as those green walls were there. And as soon as the walls were painted white, it was like, oh, this is no longer my grandmother's house, this is my house. And so that really was a revelation to me. And so probably the most important thing was that to have somebody that I just completely trusted to work with, because I had so little knowledge of doing any kind of construction project. And from the very beginning, it was clear that they were just 100% trustworthy. So it was really a wonderful working relationship. It was clear that that Bill was the consummate professional, attention to every detail, and really had lots of ideas and lots of experience, which was very valuable. And Jake was just the most patient person in the world, and he really got me through this process because he was so patient. In the layout and the way it all came out, I couldn't be more pleased.